I watched AJ Dybantsa interview, or watched the AJ Dybantsa interview. He was saying that he might stay in college for another year or two, but he hasn't decided. If he does stay, who does this hurt the most in the 2026 NBA draft?
Why does that have to hurt somebody?
Him.
Why would it hurt
But
somebody?
He's
why?
not
Why?
staying.
That's
We're
number
now
one,
discussing.
Mars.
We're discussing nothing. Like,
Yeah,
he's not
that's
staying.
that's
Cooper
number
Flag said
one.
the same shit last year. Cooper Flag said the same shit. Yeah, Melo said it.
Kawhi actually. I mean, not Kawhi. I'm sorry. What the fuck? Carmelo. I believe Carmelo actually considered it. I think Boeheim really made him like, bro, I'm not. Yeah, I believe that Carmelo actually really considered that. My thing with it though is we do got to start coming around to the fact that NC2A is not the NC2A we grew up on, and I think eventually we will start seeing some guys that are guaranteed lottery picks deciding. I'm actually developing here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we might see some guys who are actually like, yo, I got a great coaching staff. I got a great training staff. I'm getting better. I'm getting paid. I'm enjoying myself. What's the rush? I'm not saying AJ. Exactly. They're making great money in this NIL. I'm not saying AJ Dybantsa is going to say. I have no idea. I don't know the kid. I don't pretend to know the kid or pretend to know what his thought process is.
Or pretend to know a trainer.
Come on, bro. I'm not doing that. I could 100% start seeing these kids that are guaranteed lottery picks, thinking about it. Like, why go right now if I don't know if I'm ready? Or if I'm not guaranteed ready, if I'm actually getting developed. A lot of times we've seen NBA, when you get to the NBA, a lot of these teams don't got time to develop you. As much as we want to pretend like it's this coach's job to like the whole Steve Kerr thing.
That's not true, Ox. That's not true.
What's not true?
In fact, that's why they picked you at age 19, at age 18.
But I didn't say anything definite, so it can't not be true. All I'm saying is what's the why, if I know that I'm getting developed here with the training staff that knows me, training staff that I've been working with, and I've gotten so much better from when I touched down on campus in July or June. When I touched on campus, I've got so much better from then to now in the beginning of March. I'm like, what's the next leap I could take?
The next
I could go to the NBA and be a guaranteed superstar because I don't need them to develop me. I could come in and actually play my position. I don't need to go to a team and then be in and out the lineup, getting possibly sent down to the G League and worrying about minutes. I'm competing against 29, 30-year-olds who got families to feed. Yep. I'll just stay here and get better and get this money and hang out with the co-eds. You know what I'm saying?
What's the difference? Which is fair.
I agree with you. It's just not for AJ, but for different tiers of players.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
Understandable.
That's exactly
and that's why I said a second ago. I'm not saying this for AJ. All I'm saying is I think we need to start wrapping our heads around the fact that this could start happening. We could 100%
guys projected mid-first rounds and whatnot. Yeah, I can see that being the case. But
that's been going on, no Mars, for years. That guys who I'm projected to be the 15th or the 17th pick, I'm going back to school. There's no reason for me to leave because maybe my draft position could be higher. A guy like Reed Shepherd's never going to be the number one pick in the draft, but he was projected to be the third pick in the draft. So at any point, at this point, this is probably as good as it's going to get. And then on top of that, there's guys who just don't need to be in school. Now, I can appreciate your logic, Ox, about wanting to hang around 20-year-olds and wanting to enjoy the college experience. I can appreciate that logic. But then there's some guys like AJ Dybantsa who's wasting his time in school. There's guys like that who I'm really not going to learn anything in terms of development for the next level here.
Why not?
I do need to get to not just the money. I do need to get to that level of play in order for me to become a better player. I could become a better player.
They got professional train. They got pro trainers.
He got a stinker last night. Maybe he still got something to learn.
You know what I'm saying? Too? Why can't I learn more?
You can learn more. I feel like you can learn more, Ox, in college, 100%. And these professional trainers, they are training you to get to the next level. I'm not going to argue that point. What I am arguing is that once I get to that point, traveling, learning how to play at the pro level, being that way on a consistent basis, learning the pro game. Like a lot of these teams, like BYU doesn't run a pro style offense. And it's a lot different playing with and they got a really good point guard, by the way. It's a lot different playing. It's a lot different running with him than running with De'Aaron Fox. It's way different running with him than running with LaMelo Ball or somebody like that. Those two things are not the same. I think they play in the Big 12. BYU does.
Yes.
Yeah. I think BYU plays in the Big 12. So me having to deal with Colorado, me having to deal with Gonzaga is not the same as me having to deal with Miami and Washington and these guys. That's how I'm definitely gonna get better. And in terms of school, because I heard him say that his mother wants him to get a degree. Young fella, this school was here 100 years before you got here. It's gonna be 100 years after you gone. So you can always come back and get that paper. Don't you worry about that.
Right, and chill. Once again, I don't want to turn this to a whole big thing, but I think it's a conversation worth having. But once again, I'm not necessarily talking about AJ Dybantsa in particular, but I think we have this thing where we believe that if you throw a kid up there and have him play against 29-year-olds, 30-year-olds, NBA players, or with those guys, that he's just gonna adapt and gonna get ready. If I don't know shit right now, you can't just throw me in a room with astrophysicists and be like, oh, he'll get it. Like, no, I gotta learn. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I gotta get these skills. Yep. I gotta understand what's going on at the next level, and then I go up there and I might start here and start getting with those guys. On top of that, too, a lot of these youngsters, they need time to become professionals in mindset as well. Sure. And I think in college, in how you know how it is, and even at the Division I level, they're on planes, they're traveling, they're moving around, they got professional schedules, they got to be up, they got a real itinerary they got to keep. I think a little bit more of that development is very important as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
which is, I think that's a fair argument. But to your point about an astrophysicist, well, if I'm around other young astrophysicists, it's obvious that I'm clearly better than all of you guys. So I'm not going to learn anything here. Being around astrophysicist, I'm just.
He the only astrophysicist over there.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm almost wasting my time hanging around you. Even if I do end up going to a level where there's other astrophysicists who are better than me, I'm probably going to learn more hanging around them, and I'm probably going to fall over a number of different times in terms of the travel, in terms of the professionalism, in terms of learning and getting better at the game. Where better to learn that than being around other professionals? Remember, Ox, in the college, I might have another pro on my team, maybe two. At that level in the NBA, all of these dudes is pros. Every last one of them are. And if I'm gonna learn to be a professional, if I'm gonna get better at being a professional, my grandmother told me when I was a kid. Mars, you want to do something, you got to hang around people that's doing it. Right. It's that simple.
Well, on top of that too, though, Chill. Now maybe you might only have one other guy that's gonna go to the NBA.
Yep.
But a few of these other guys are going to go play high level overseas, you know what I'm saying? Good professionals as well. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. I've said this before to you. I think a lot of these youngsters could stay in college for a little longer just to learn how to be professional or just to mature a little bit more. Yep. You know what I mean? I think there still are a lot of good college coaches out there who want to help young men become men, you know what I mean, and show them the ropes and things. So once again, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about AJ Dybantsa right now. AJ Dybantsa, you probably go on and get up out of there. But I do think that we're going to start seeing a lot more guys stick around a little longer, and I think that's one of the good things about the NIL too, is that you can stay back and get some money. You know what I mean? Like Chill. I don't know if you remember like CJ Fair, CJ Leslie, those guys that were on the brink. They probably should have got out of there and went and got that contract. They waited too long.
It's some guys this year that what you're saying absolutely needs to be true for them. And I'm not saying stay for the money. I'm saying, like, you guys know, I push a lot of propaganda for delayed gratification. That's why I say we can tank today to be better tomorrow. Sometimes you gotta just chill to get something that's gonna be better next year. Yep. So this is a stacked draft. Obviously, we've talked about this being one of the deepest drafts that we've had in recent history. Yep. You got guys like, and I'm gonna throw out a couple names of why guys should stay, because in next year's draft that's projected to be weaker, you got an opportunity to be the number 1 overall pick. You got busy this year. You come back over the summer, get better, work on your game. Next year, you'll dominate even more. You have the opportunity, and you should dominate more. You have the potential to go number 1 overall next year. The first name I'm going to throw out, Elijah Arenas. He was hurt for a majority of this season. He's shown flashes. We know the kid can hoop. If I was Elijah, so I'm looking at a mock draft right now, CBS mock draft, they have him going 10. I think he has a legit shot at going number 1 next year. If I was him, especially like, and I'm not even gonna dig into, who his family is and what his pockets are and things like that. Sure. I just believe next year you have an opportunity to go number one. So yeah, you can come back and get a bag. You can go to the league now, or you can come back, still get the NIL money, and then next year potentially go number one.
I could get with that.
Also, a kid like Nate Ament. He was projected as a top 5 pick. Now it's a chance that he could fall out the top 10. If I'm Nate, I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna work on some areas in my game. I'm gonna come back, build on what I did this year, and I'm for sure trying to go top 5 next year. Another guy down there in it's down there in Damien's area, plays for the New Zealand Beakers. A guy named Kareem Lopez. Dope. He's a Mexican kid. Dope. We haven't even talked about Kareem Lopez. He is 6'8" point guard. He is dope. In any other draft, we'd be talking about him going top 7-ish. We haven't even mentioned his name at all. That's how good this draft is. If I'm Kareem, I'm playing another year with New Zealand. I'm not
How old is he?
About going.
How old is he, Ron? So a kid, okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm not even thinking. He went to he's playing for the same team that LaMelo played for.
Okay.
And a couple other people played.
Dash Daniels is the same, yeah.
Yep, Dyson. You said Dash?
Dash should stay another year.
Brother. Yeah, that's Dash's
he should
brother.
stay another year. That's another guy who should stay another year. Like, he would get drafted in the lottery, but he should stay another year.
Yeah. And then last, Tunde Yusufu for Baylor.
Yep.
If I'm any of those guys that I just mentioned, if I'm not like guaranteed to go top 7 or 8 in this draft, I'm about to just chill because I have a potential to go top 3 next year.
And then, I think you could come back to school and it could hurt you. I mean, one of the guys who, I'm indirectly connected to, Pettiford, that's at Auburn.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, they went to the Final Four last year. So if he ends up putting his name in the draft, would he have been a top 15 pick? Quite possibly. But he ends up coming back this year, and he didn't have the year that he had last year. So considering what this draft is, Ron, if he put his name in the draft, he might not get drafted. But next year he comes back as a junior and he gets busy, he might be a top 10 pick again. He could very well be a top 10 pick again.
It's tricky and it's hard to, have the foresight of, if I come back and I do what I do this year and, you project yourself to get better, that I'll go higher up. My biggest thing though, too, is like, I'm under the belief that you're going to be what you're going to be as a pro. And so like, the thing I want to secure is a bigger deal and a longer deal. And we've talked about this plenty of times. A dude that gets drafted 17 isn't going to get the same type of love or have the same type of leash as a dude that gets picked top 3, because Mars has outlined this before. They want to get a return on their investment. So if you're a top 3 pick, they're going to give you ample opportunities. Like look at Scoot Henderson, for instance. He at least got how long is his contract with the Blazers?
I think this is Rook deal. I think his Rook deal is up.
Next year will be the last year.
Right? Yeah.
And so Scoot's going to get another deal after that. It might not be with the Blazers, but he's going to get another deal after that just simply by being a number 2 pick.
But Ox, do you think as well, like, do you think we're at the stage where guys are also going to be going to the league from high school? Like, did Darren Peterson need to go to college this year?
I don't know.
I would love to see that come back, to be honest with you. I would.
I think that's probably saying.
I personally don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm just big on letting kids grow up. I think letting 17, 18-year-olds go straight to the NBA, it's work. Don't get me wrong. You got Kobe, Bron, Dwight, you know what I'm saying, KG, T-Mac. There's a bunch of guys that made it and they were successful with it. I personally don't really think it's a good idea, but that's just for a maturity standpoint and just age and just, getting older, being more, being smarter. I think at least a year or 2 of college really does a lot for you as far as development and just,
Ox, if you look at
sometimes I just don't know about 18-year-olds just being being around 32-year-olds and having all that pressure.
That's what I was about to ask you.
A lot of if I'm 33, 32 and I got to deal with this little ass kid all day.
Which he is, which exactly I'm that. I'm 18 years old. I'm a child.
Yeah, he's a baby. I'm just like that shit. I can see myself being like, bro, like I don't know. I just don't know. I think it's too risky. Where it's like you might have guys that aren't willing to help. That's like, bro, just try to get this kid away from me. Like he played too much. He, you know, what I'm saying, TikTok dances and all that shit, man. Go to college, man. You know what I'm saying? Go there.
Do you think that is it fair that some of these guys maybe, because it sounded to me like socially, not from an athletic standpoint, but socially, some of these guys need to mature. One of the guys that I was thinking about in particular, do you think that socially Bryant could have used a year, maybe 2 years of college, just socially?
I don't know, Chill. I can't say so for sure because I don't really know how Kobe Bryant was at that age.
Because from an athletic standpoint, I don't think he needed to go to school.
Yeah,
I think that he would have been wasting his time doing that.
From what I seen, though, I think Kobe was one of those guys, like, you know, kind of like a tweener. It's like he might be too mature for people his age. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, he wanted, you know, he's like one of the pups that want to nip at the big dogs all day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can't really say, but that's my point though, Chill. I think that it's very rare to find an 18-year-old that's mature enough to be around 30-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So that for those reasons, I'm like, why risk it? Why even if this kid is good enough, why put him in a potentially, you know, a potential disadvantage? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with 1 year of college? 2 years of college.
LeBron, there's a Kwame Brown.
Especially now that you can get some money now. It's like, you know, because that was the big thing. Oh, my mama got this, you know, my little sister, this and that. I got to feed, you know, whatever. Okay, cool. Now you can send some bread home. You can get money. You can boom, send it. You know, you're good now. So for those reasons, I'm like, man, you might want to go. You might want to go be up under Bill Self for a year or two. Go get with Tom Izzo for a year or two. You know what I mean? I think that's good for development. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just my opinion.
I do think that I do think that there's some guys who, like, school isn't necessary. Now, maybe from a social standpoint, maybe, because when you get to the pros, a lot of times there's nothing else going on outside of basketball. Like, you practice and you don't really have anything else, as opposed to school. Like, I got to go to class and I got to go to practice and I got to go to training table and I got to deal with, you know, the social issues that, and especially when I'm around other people my age, I think that could mature me. So maybe I could use school in that aspect. But then there are some guys who I just look at them and think to myself, you would be wasting your time going to school. I think Kevin Garnett would have been wasting his time going to school. I think James would have been wasting his time going to school. This kid, AJ Dybantsa, I think that socially, I think he is wasting his time. I think he wasted his time going to school. I don't think that he needed to be in school. I think he's a professional, and I think he should have been able to go to the NBA right out of high school because I think he was ready. There aren't many guys who I think are ready, but I think he's one of those guys who is ready to go right out of high school.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the hoes go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out here did raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.